The next night, it meant that we had 20 guys at our apartment because even though maybe we had invited 10, they brought their roommates and they brought friends and whatever. So it was 6 girls and 20 guys. So that was a super fun party. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Lise and I have been a BYU-I student for about 3 years. I have also been a student at BYU Provo for a few semesters. So today I wanted to talk about a few things that I wish I had known before I came to BYU-Idaho. So one of the first things that I want to talk about is academics. Compared to BYU Provo and some other schools that I've been a part of and known, BYU-Idaho, in my opinion, has a very nice setup. That the classes are really small, so you get to know your professors really well and you can email them. You don't have to go through a TA necessarily. Your professors know you by name, which is great for networking. And also you get to know people because it's not lecture halls. A lot of the things that you do are in groups and things like that. So compared to all other colleges, I think BYU-Idaho has pretty easy courses. Even if you're taking classes like biology or chemistry or pre-nurse and pre-med, which tend to be a little bit harder, the workload is not as hard. So you actually get a lot of more free time to either go and work or, meet with tutors or have a social life. One last thing about BYU-Idaho specifically is that it does have more of a community college feel to it. We don't have sports. We have intramural sports, but they're not competitive with other universities. So if you're the type of person that likes going to football games or volleyball games or soccer games or whatever it is, there isn't as much university pride or whatever it is. There aren't that many things that you can go to in that aspect. You can go and watch competitive intramural sports, but I guess it's not as fun because you're not cheering for your school, you're cheering for a specific team, I guess, a person that you might know. So that's one thing coming from Provo that was a little bit shocking and a little bit sad in my opinion, because I love going to football games. But yeah, I mean, if you don't care about that, and honestly, if you did sports in high school but didn't want to get into super competitive sports, you can always go and try out for the intramural competitive sports, and you can play kind of for fun, kind of a little bit competitive, keep going with the sports that you love. And it's a lot easier to get in also because you're not competing with 100 other people for that specific sport. The second thing that I want to talk about is the social life at BYU-Idaho. So the very first thing that I think you guys need to know is that depending on the apartment complex that you live at, that's the kind of people that you will be around. So the more expensive apartment complexes, the maybe richer students, or the ones that want to have parties and things like that. If you go to an apartment complex where it's a little bit more chill, a little bit cheaper, you will most likely have people that tend to have game nights or want to have, just other types of activities that are not as wild, I would say, I guess. Obviously, this isn't the norm always. I don't want people just telling me that that's not true, but I think that it's pretty common and that's what you can expect mostly, especially if you don't know your roommates coming in. Another thing that I think it's good to know, and I would consider this a con a little bit more, is that there aren't that many things to do around here unless it's outside. So normally in the winter, if you're not a fan of the cold, or if you're not a fan of skiing or snowboarding, there aren't that many things to do, especially because most of the things that you have to do are all in Idaho Falls. So that's like a 30-minute drive from here. That's where you have the big, malls and the stores, and, if you want to go shopping at Costco or Target. We have Walmart here and we have a few smaller stores. But if you want to do something fun, I guess there are more things to do in Idaho Falls. The nice thing though is that even though there aren't that many things to do in Rexburg, there are always people planning activities. So they are always planning game nights. I think that that's one of the biggest things that people do here, and they're constantly trying to meet new people, get to know new people, so you always have a chance to meet new people. I think that this is actually because of the 3-track system, where for one of the tracks you might not be here. One semester you might have a bunch of friends, and then the next semester everyone went home because they don't have classes that semester. So people are constantly trying to make new friends and everything, but it does require a little bit of creativity. Actually, a fun story, my husband and I, that's how we met. We met through a game night. My roommates had downloaded Mutual, and they made an account saying, we're not here to date, but we're here to have game nights, swipe up if you're interested. And they just went and started swiping up on everyone. The next night, it meant that we had 20 guys at our apartment, because even though maybe we had invited 10, you know, they brought their roommates and they brought friends and whatever. So it was 6 girls and 20 guys. So that was a super fun party. And that's actually something that I will be talking about in a little bit, about Mutual and dating apps in general. One other thing is, if you want to make friends, go to your FHE activities. Most wards have FHE activities in a way that they set you up with 1 or 2 other apartments, and that's your FHE group. Every Monday you get to do an activity with them, and you can become friends with them. And BYU-Idaho always makes sure to have activities going on all throughout the year. So even if it's the winter, they always have things. Even if it's on campus, they have activities going on. So that's another great way of meeting people. That is what I want to get into next, is dating. So like I said, going to FHE activities, serving in your ward. A lot of people just meet through their wards. One other thing I would really recommend is going to service activities. Go to the things that the kind of person that you are and the kind of person that you want to meet, right? So if you go to the temple, or if you go and do service activities, you're gonna meet the kind of people that want to do that too. If you go to parties, or if you go, you know, whatever it is, whoever you're trying to meet, go to the activities where they would be at. I wanted to talk about Mutual and dating apps in general. I'm not necessarily a fan of them. I took a psychology class once and we talked about something that was very interesting. Imagine that you're at an ice cream shop and you have 20 different options of different ice cream flavors, but you can only choose one. Whatever choice you make, you are going to leave not as satisfied, because you might be thinking, well, what if I had gotten something else, or what if this other flavor had tasted better. You might not be as satisfied as you would be if you went to a store and there's only 3 options and you choose the one that sounds the best and you stick to that, right? I think the problem with dating apps is that it's a similar idea. Is, you know, you might swipe up on a bunch of guys that seem to have the qualities that you want, and you might go on a date with one, but they don't seem to have all the qualities that you want. So you might not give them a chance just because you keep thinking, well, what if this other guy swipes up, or what if this other guy is better, you know? That's why I prefer meeting people in real life. I went on a lot of dates for Mutual, and I didn't end up getting married until I actually met someone in person, and through a game night I actually was able to see him for who he was and not compare him to what if. The last thing I want to talk about is work. Work here is a little bit different. They don't have as many work opportunities, and the pay is not great, which also makes housing cheaper. But a lot of people do leave, like I was saying, during their flex track or their off track, to go home or to go and work somewhere else, somewhere where they can actually make money so that they can pay for college and everything that comes with it. So that is a hard thing, is trying to find a job that pays enough, that is not all the way in Idaho Falls. Kind of seems very competitive because it's 30 people applying for one job, so you have to be very good. You have to have a lot of experience. That is all I wanted to share with you guys. If you have any questions, or you want me to make a video about BYU versus BYU-Idaho, or whatever it is, leave it down in the comments.